Hi everyone. A few weeks ago we held our annual Magenta Academy Live event, as you can see at the bottom of the screen here, on the 21st of April at the Manufacturing Technology Centre. Now we appreciate that everybody could make it. We had a great turnout on the day, but what we thought we'd do is share with you the slides that we ran through, so everyone gets a taste of what was there if you couldn't make on the day. So for those of you that don't know me or haven't heard my voice before, my name is Joseph Fall. I'm an Autodesk technical consultant here at Magenta Solutions. I'm going to be taking you through Inventor What's New 2016, so there'll be a few videos where we run through all the different contents for what we're going to start with. The first thing we're going to have a look at is the user interface enhancement. So what's different between Inventor 2016 and Inventor 2015? So 2016 offers a much more customizable home screen. You can choose how you browse your templates, either in subfolders or in a structure that suits you, so you can create your own structure to suit. You can also resize any of the partition lines that you can see, or you will see in a moment, to allow you to work with different areas of the home that you need to specifically. So with 2015, Autodesk introduced their new home screen. And some people liked this, some people didn't, some people turned it off, and that was pretty much the first thing that they normally asked when we did an update course, was where can I go to turn this off? But it did offer quite a nice, quick, unique way to be able to either get into modelling parts across the top of the screen, assemblies or drawings, quick and easy ways to configure those templates, and also see all those parts at the bottom of the screen. There were a few problems with it, so there were a few issues with this that didn't quite work the way Autodesk would have wanted initially. However, this was the first release, so for 2016 they've taken the home screen and they've enhanced it a lot. So this is now what you're going to get when you open up Inventor 2016. So this is the new home screen. So initially, what have we got here? On the top left hand corner, you've got where you have all of your templates. So this is where you can browse a template system. So you'll notice on the left hand side you've got a basic or an advanced view. We're currently in the advanced view at the moment. The basic view will literally just give you a part assembly, drawing, and presentation file to open, similar to what you had previously. The advanced template system lets you browse through, whether it's English metric, any other templates that you might have in this system, and select them. You can also see the path that you're searching for, which often is a really useful thing. If ever you need to customize any of those templates, right at the very top you can see the templates. On the right hand side of the home screen at the top, by default, unless you customize it, you've got all the projects that you're working on. So you can see there's a projects tab, there's a shortcuts tab, and there's a file details tab. I'll show you what the file details tab does when I demonstrate this to you in a moment. But the projects that we have, the one thing that happened in 2015, whenever you changed your project when working in Inventor, often you'd lose a lot of the thumbnail images that you see at the bottom of the screen because certain files were only available in certain projects. Now what they've done is you have, every time you change between a project, it will update the recent document panel that you can see at the bottom of the screen. So I will demonstrate this to you. So if I select a different project, it will automatically update what you have at the bottom of the screen, so you can see a different set of results, a different set of files for you to work with. On the left hand side at the bottom, we've got our filters. So again, like I say, they've done a bit more work on the recent documents, on all the little panels that you can see, and we're going to talk about those in the coming slides. The left hand side of this box lets you select filters to turn on and off for different parts, assemblies and drawings for you to work with nice and easily. And then here is obviously the main section where you can see all the files that you're working on. So just above the window actually, you've got tiles, large and small, and list, so you can actually see, you configure these however you want to configure them to show you as a list, detail, small icons to get more on, large icons, which is what I've got on currently, or you can have tiles as well, which will display slightly differently. So as I just mentioned, project-based filtering, you can see recent documents associated with the projects that you choose. So you can select a project and you can see the recent documents associated with that project. You also have, and this is a really, really nice touch, Vault integration into the home screen. So there is no integration of the Vault system, only the Vault status, so you can't necessarily check something out of there from Vault, but you can see the Vault status of a file whilst viewing it in the recent documents panel. So here we have an example of tiled recent documents. Sorry, I forgot the words. Tiled recent documents, and what you have at the bottom of the screen is you should be able to see the little symbols that will hover over them. So here you've got a little tick, and on the left hand side we've got all the vault status. So if I just expand that, you can see there is a little menu of all of the vault status or status that you can see, and you will get a little, one of these icons will show in the tile, so you can see whether or not that file is available for checkout, whether it's local, whether there's an unexpected issue, or whatever one of these system symbols. You can also define folder shortcuts in the project selection area. So two different ways that you can do this or have these so you can view them. You can select them so that when you select the folder it opens in Windows Explorer, or if you turn that off, when you select them it will open in Inventor open mode, as if you were to go file open and browse to that folder. So here you've got your workgroup search paths, so you can see I've got UI, sketch enhancements, part modeling, assembly, sheet metal, workflow, AnyCAD in this case, and then we've got another example of how we want to display the tiles. Nice easy ways, so you can display the details as larger icons, as tiled icons, or as a listed set of icons. Let's move on to the software itself. So that's what you see with the home screen. That's the new enhancements they've made to the home screen. The software itself has a different default modelling background. So I know many of us will probably change the colours anyway and have our own specific colour set that we like to work with. But Inventor 2016 out of the box will have a different, fresher looking interface than 2015. You also have more visual control for different visual styles. So we're all familiar hopefully with shading with edges, hidden lines and so on. They've introduced a few more visual styles for us to have a look at and play with. So this is what we're greeted with out of the box for 2015. And having used it all year, you probably haven't noticed much difference or haven't noticed too much about it. Hopefully now when you open up 2016 you'll notice it looks a bit fresher, it's a little bit easier on the eye, and hopefully it might inspire you first thing in the morning perhaps when you fire up the machines. User enhancements for the ribbon. So there was a lot of conversations, if you like, around 2015 release of the software when Autodesk decided to take their user interface ribbon across the top of the screen and simplify it down. So they simplified it down and they removed things around and they created these larger icons across the top of the screen. And these larger icons made it easier for you to find something, in theory, because the icons were larger and it was a much cleaner, clearer interface. Now they did a lot of conversations with actual users of the software over the course of the year. And what was decided is that they're going to put the interface back to the way that it was. So essentially 2014, this was the interface that you saw, so the 2016 interface, this was predominantly what you had in 2014. 2015 they decided to mix it up a little bit, and now they've basically put it back to the way it was in 2014, so that you've got all of the icons all available on screen. So unfortunately, if you've just spent the entire year getting used to the way that 2015 organises things, you'll have to get used to them being back where they were with 2016. So this is actually a result of them having customer feedback, listening to that customer feedback, and implementing that customer feedback on users that said it wasn't all that easy to find things because you don't know which tools were hidden under what. I imagine most of us out there will work with multiple screens when working with Inventor. If that's the case, you'll like the fact that Inventor now has the ability to dock browsers and undock browsers on multiple monitors. So you can take your mobile browser, for example, and you can dock it on a separate screen. There is an always on top context option, which means you can still have your emails underneath it, and if you fire up your email, it won't hide your model browser from you when you're working. This will just give you more space when you're working in Inventor. It's more modelling space, quite nice to be able to see a little bit more whilst you're working. Other commands. So sometimes in Inventor you might want to work with multiple windows. I know personally this is something that I do quite a lot. I have a few models that I will have open at the same time, maybe perhaps an assembly and some of the parts for that assembly. They've introduced the ability to be able to tile those windows. So in the bottom left hand corner here you can see they've added the options to be able to tile the windows, and you can tile them horizontally, you can tile them vertically. There is an arrange button which will arrange all those icons for you. So if you're working with multiple models, you can have both of them open at the same time, and just by selecting in one or the other window, it then switches the model browser on the very left hand side or wherever you decide to dock it for you to work with. So it's a nice, easy, quick, simple way of having a look. Now this one's quite an interesting one. I imagine that we've probably been in the situation where we've started a command and Windows has decided to time out Inventor. For whatever reason, it might be that we've decided to do, or we've attempted to do something that was quite strenuous on the machine, and Windows has just had an issue with it or started to time it out. Autodesk have now introduced the escape key to terminate, interrupt, or cancel any of these following operations. So if you are now in the situation where you've started a command and it's looking like Inventor is going to fall over, or looking like Windows is going to time it out, you can use the escape key and it will cancel that command and stop what you're doing and enable you to carry on working. Okay. So let's have a quick look at the software itself. We're going to nip into templates. I'm going to show you that we've got resizable sections. I'm going to highlight the fact we have a vault status now available in our home screen, project specific recent files, and then we're going to have a look at some tiling options when we actually have some software as well. So I'm going to nip back into the software. So this is essentially what you're going to be greeted with when you first open up Inventor now. This is the new home screen that you can see here. So on the very left hand side at the very top here we've got our templates. Now I mentioned that you can have basic set of templates, so this is a basic set of templates, just a part, assembly, drawing and presentation, just like we had in 2015. If I want to configure the template settings, I can click on the little configure icon and that will then open up my separate window. Alternatively, I can click on the arrow to get my advanced settings. So this is what I had on when you first opened this up. What's nice is we've got our C users, public documents, Autodesk Inventor 2016 template location. So that's the location of where the folders are set. I can then use this method to browse through any one of these if I need to as well. I get a little preview, so it's a nice easy way to be able to browse something and have a look and make sure we're working with the right template to start a brand new file. Moving across to the right hand side of this, we've got all of our projects. So at the moment I'm working in my Magenta Vault project. If I was to toggle to a condenser unit project, so just by double clicking on it, you can see, although there's no files in there, it's removed my recent documents. If I were to go to an intro to modeling, for example, again, it's going to see if it can find the files and see if I've got anything else anywhere that we can look at. There you go. So in the 2016 event folder, I have a few files. So this is obviously taken this particular file location and shown me the 3 files that I have. I'll go back to Magenta Vault. You can see it's going to take those and show me that context sensitive the recent documents based upon the project that I'm working on. Also in here, if I go to 2016 event, we have a shortcuts folder, or if I click on open shortcuts using Window Explorer, I can click on one of these folder paths, and what it should do is enable me to open up a particular folder path that we might have set up. So if I have them set up, in this case I haven't got these set up because that particular folder location doesn't work. What we could do is we could select on one of these and it will open that window up in Windows Explorer in this case, or if I clear that box it will open that window up in in Inventor. I've also got a file details tab at the top of the screen, so if I was to select any of the files I can now view the file details in here. So I can see the author of this particular file, I can see a description, some basic options that we've got. I can also click on that and see the location where that particular file's come from. So there you go, it's opened up in this case in the file open dialog box. If I tick that on and then I click on that again, we've got the option to be able to open it up. Oh, it has opened in Windows, sorry, it's a Windows 8 thing. There you go, they're at the bottom of the screen. There's a Windows 8, so we can see those opening up at the bottom of the screen. I'll get rid of all these now. Just close all those windows. So we can see we can toggle between different projects. That will change the recent documents. We can also rearrange these. So if I want to drag this down, if I never use recent documents, for example, I can drag that down completely. Or if I never ever want to see my new templates, I can shrink those down. So I can move the windows. We can flip them around. So if I click the little flip button, obviously For most people who will use the home screen, the recent documents is the most important panel. This is the quickest location, so you might just want to flip that and have a look and see it, or you might even want to maximize recents. So to maximize recents, so you can see all of the files that you're working on really quickly. Click on tiles and I can change the view that I'm working on or how I'm viewing these files. Click on small icon or listed icons and I can see them slightly differently as well. We'll go back to large icons because it's nice and visual and we can see what's happening here. If I hover over these little symbols, you should be able to see that here we have our Vault integration. So at the moment this particular file is checked out to administrator, which fortunately is me. So is this file. These files here are checked into the system and this is all based on available for checkout. There you go, it's the option that you can see in the list. And I can filter these down, so I can say only show me what's available for checkout, only show me what's locally checked out and in sync. So by default you can set it on all statuses and it will show you whatever you want. So you can see all of the available projects in here. If ever you get tired of the interface and you want to put it back to the way that it was, you can just hit the reset button at the top of the screen and that will then reset everything back to normal. So let's open something up. So I can, just before I do, if I hover over one of the tiles, by the way, we can also open with options, open containing folder, explore the folder, look at the file details, or clear the unpinned document. So this is quite a nice function. If ever you've got a particular part file that you don't want, or you don't want to see in your recent documents, now you can remove one from the list. You can also hover over and click in the drop-down list and clear all unpinned documents from the list. So if there are any files like these here that I wanted to remove, any ones that weren't pinned down and I didn't want to see them, I could actually just say clear unpinned documents and it will again get rid of everything. So it puts emphasis now on pinning down the documents that you use on a regular basis. So let's actually open something up so you can see the new UI that you've got. So when we open the files up, you can see, if I just sort of spin this around a little bit at the moment, we've got the files inside the system. So when you first open up, you've got a new fresher looking interface, fresher looking background for the files. Hopefully that you'll find it a little bit better. You can move them around if you need to, so you can, if you need to, configure these options. So if I just go to view, we've got different styles in here, so we can go and change to maybe a grid light setting. I've got different visual styles, so one of the new ones is a tech illustration, so that's quite a nice one that you can put on. We could go into realistic if we wanted to. I'll leave it with shading with edges just to start with. So if I've got multiple files open, I can use the tiles at the bottom of the screen. So let's actually open something else up in a separate window. So I can see I've got this open in a separate window, just reorientate it to the bottom. And I have the files where I need them. If I then click on a little cascade, if I just close down the home screen for now, let's try arranging them horizontally. You can see I can get both files tiled nice and quickly. And as soon as I click on one, it will update my model browser. If I click on the opposite one, it again updates my model browser. So I can work in succinct. I can see both of these files, maybe make a change in here, click in this one and update it. So it's a really, really nice dynamic way to be able to work with the files, opening up different files whilst we're working. So, UI enhancements, we've gone through templates, resizable sections, vault status, project-specific recent document files, and tile options. So we will be releasing more of these videos in the coming weeks to make sure that everybody gets a good overview of all of the enhancements Autodesk have made to Inventor 2016.